Hey everybody, I'm your host Raja Mirza. We are back in our episode of World Curiosity, where we discuss all the countries that exist in this world. And today, after Japan, South Korea and North Korea, we are doing the last country in East Asia, Terrathea. Terrathea is an island located between Japan and South Korea. The name Terrathea is based on ancient Terrathean Empire, which means a land of goddess. They believe that their country has been blessed with so many of resources by a goddess and deity from the sky. The flag of Terrathea is called Symbologia Pravitas, which means a symbol of pride. The flag stands for the four components. The white color means the land, the blue color means the people, the red color means the government, and the woman at the middle of the flag represents the Miteras Diskoras, which means the mother of the land. Without further ado, let's watch the history of Terrathea.
The story of a country named Terrathea began in the 7th century. This land was governed by an absolute monarchic system since the first emperor, which was the Emperor of Joseon, until the final Emperor of China. Terrathea was a happy and cherished land. The king never betrayed its people. They built their nation together. Maritime was the main economic activity on that time. The power management in the country was solely in the hand of the emperor. The history will never exist without a tragedy. In 1850, Terrathea was attacked by Japan. Terrathea being colonized by its own neighbor country. The dark ages of Terrathea has begun. From 1850 until 104 years later, in the early of 1954, Terrathea was not governed by their emperor anymore. Terrathea's people suffer in damage, hunger, and grief.
That is so sad to be true. Of course, after the Dark Age will come the Golden Age. Now let's take a look at how the Terrathea rises from the ashes.
After almost over a century long of being colonized by the Imperial Japanese Army, this once rich and fertile country, namely Terrathea, has now become dry and landlocked land. But worry not, Terrathea has now regained their power in their country earlier in the 20th century. We have interviewed the current Deputy Prime Minister of Terrathea, Mr. Dominic, to briefly unfold the structure of the government for us.
It is before we being colonized by the Japanese army. Feudal system was practiced as the emperor was the head of the land, followed by the rulers of the military called Aldia, who also had power after the emperor, as he has the power to give command to the Terrathea military force, Gunji. But at this age of modernization, Terrathea no longer practice this as our government structure. Terrathea now is a democratic country, which is ruled by the Prime Minister.
The government of Terrathea is currently working on the betterment of the country in all aspects, political, structural facility, and the standard of living of the people in Terrathea. The colonization took place almost 50 years ago. How has the structure of government of Terrathea changed since then? This political system provides a room to replace the existing government without having to resort any form of violence.
That is interesting. Now let's hear the explanation from the local expert about the government system in Terrathea. Professor Sumaya.
Hello, my name is Professor Sumaya. Since the beginning of Terrathea itself, maritime was the main trade. Terrathea started to export the maritime resources internationally between another states. Started from this business economy, Terrathea being known and was a start for Terrathea's development.
Professor, how was the government system works during monarchy rule, Terrathea?
Let's compare to the history of Japan. Their head military taken over the power of the emperor, but not in Terrathea. The feudal system runs smoothly. The king is the only one who governs and holds the power.
Then how did the emperor empire have fallen?
Japanese can see the loophole in the government management, which the only leader was the king. The single monarch was easily influenced and swept down by the Japan during the colonization, and that was the main reason why Terrathea was in aim.
Wow, that is such a good explanation from you, Professor. Now, Dr. Danya, will explain a little bit more about how Terrathea's executive bodies work. The mic is yours, Doctor.
After the coalition ended in 1954, Terrathea developed themselves again and established a much greater system, which is democracy, where the executives were developed to strengthen the country. In this new government, there is a glimpse of the absolute monarchy system, as there is still the emperor who is the ruler and the supreme head of the Federation of Terrathea.
Although the emperor is the head of Terrathea, he has no power in governing the country, as the head of government is the prime minister, and he only possesses certain power as the ruler by controlling the executive system, such as appointing and dismissing prime minister. The Prime Minister is the actual head of the government, and they are the ones who govern the country in various of aspects such as the education, the economy, socials of the country. It is not an easy task, therefore they must be elected by the Emperor and win an election to become the Prime Minister and leader of the cabinet.
The cabinet of Terrathea consists of the ministers of each state in Terrathea, and every member is appointed by the Prime Minister itself, the leader of the cabinet.
The Cabinet of Ministers is the highest policy-making body, thus they need to perform various tasks such as discuss issues that happen in Terrathea and find ways to solve them, manage foreign affairs and more. They are also the ones who will discuss, formulate and coordinate the government policies for the public.
Lastly, Professor Adam will talk about legislative and judicial bodies for this country.
Hello everyone, I'm Adam Lukman, a professor in the University of Terrathea. In Terrathea, we have a bicameral legislature which involves the two types of houses, the House of Ambassador and the House of Councillor. The houses is where the citizens and the people construct the government. The law, the budget, and the decision of the government all been discussed here to ensure all the decisions are precise and safe for the sake of the nation. But this is not all. We are applying democracy in most everything. The voice of majority is always going to be here. However, in Terrathea, being famous is not everything. It's written in our highest constitution under the Article of 17 in the Schedule 4. Any persons who willing to represent any house must pass the eligibility test and other qualification as mentioned in the article. Credibility and integrity are what Terrathea focus on.
Our people is our responsibility. Do not let them down.
My people vote for me. I am here to voice out for them.
Integrity is our stand. We will never allow, let, or give permission to the abandon of the law.
Corruption is a poison that should never exist in the land of Terrathea.
Both houses are based on the people's choice. People decide who they want to voice out their voice.
Wow, can you explain a little bit more about what type of judicial bodies in Terrathea?
To ensure fairness and avoid bias, Terrathea apply judicial in the system. We have 4 courts, which Supreme Court as the highest court, followed by High Court, District Court and Family Court. All the courts are binding to the decision of the higher court. The judge will be appointed by the houses, so apparently the judge is the choice of the people. The judge will remain calm and natural in every case that they handle.
Terrathea is a country that operates under a judicial system. Hence, this court is bound to the decision of Supreme Court as stated in the Constitution under Article 5 in Schedule 8.
Furthermore, the procedure in hearing is the same for everyone. Natural justice like audio patem and nemo judex in causa sua will always be practiced in Terrathea court to apply fairness among the people. No one above the law, no one breached the law, and no one can use the law for himself.
Thank you to all the panelists. In conclusion, the land of goddess has always figured out the best way for them to create their own world with wild imagination, driven by the good government. It is no wonder why Terrathea is becoming a hotspot that everyone's talking about today. Stay tuned and bye bye.